G'day, welcome to another GDA 2 battle report. This time we're in Spain. It's late July 1808. Junot has pulled his troops back into Lisbon after the country has risen in insurrection against him. He sent out flying columns. He sent out Lucon with 7,000 troops to make contact with the other French detachments in Spain. They are marching on the town of Alvas, intending to take that and reopen communications. However, just outside the town of Evora, 3,000 Spanish Portuguese troops have decided to make a stand against the French column. These are under the command of Eleta. Historically, it wasn't much of a battle. The French marched up, saw that the Portuguese were going to make a stand and attacked immediately, and the Portuguese in Spanish broke and ran, and it was a bit of a massacre. But today we're going to have another crack at rewriting history. I've got the French forces as per what orders of battles I can find in books, but the Spanish Portuguese is a bit of a mystery, so I've kind of made it up to try and get some sort of game out of it. So on the Portuguese side, we have a small Portuguese brigade of 3 small battalions holding the road and on the right of the road. On the left of the road, we have a small 3-battalion brigade of militia Spanish, and in reserve at the back we have another brigade of 3 small units of Spanish militia. All of the troops are graded as recruits, and they're all small battalions. They're not going to do too well, I don't think. They've got 2 hills of rough ground either side, and on this side 3 Portuguese skirmish bases occupy this one. On the other side, we've got 1 small Spanish battalion and 2 skirmisher bases occupying it. There's no overall commander. They're just going to get 3 command dice, and that's all they're going to get. So they're going to struggle. Here you can see the French forces. Solonec's brigade is here. He's got 2 light battalions, the 12th and the 15th, and he's got the 1st Hanoverian Legion, which is Italians because I haven't got that. Got an 8-gun battery in the middle, and then we have Margaron's brigade. It's got 1 battalion of the 58th and 2 battalions of the 86th. So I'm going to class those all as, I think we won't class them as grenadiers because we won't class them as elite. We'll just veterans. We'll just class them as grenadiers. So here we have the off-table French reserve of 2 converged grenadiers battalions. I've just used these guys in bearskins, and the 4th and 5th provisional dragoons. The French will get 10 turns to chase the Spanish, or break the Spanish Portuguese army and chase them off down to the town at the back of the table there. The French will get 4 dice compared to the Spanish 3, and they also get an adjutant, which you can see there painted up, those 2 guys, which was a suggestion of Scott because I always forget to do it. So bloody good idea, and I've done it. So they'll get 4 dice plus reroll 1s, and the Spanish will only get 3. Right, let's go. Turn 1 saw the French get 2 ADCs. They gave both their brigades a reroll. Only 1 needed it. The Spanish got 1 ADC, and they cunningly put this guy on skirmisher tasking. So, and they've moved the Portuguese forward. So we're into firing. It's just going to be a bit of skirmish fire. The French go first. See how the Portuguese can do. French have got 6 dice, 5 stands, and a brigader. And they're going to get 1, and the Spanish have got 3 plus brigader plus skirmisher tasking, and they are going to get 3, so a casualty each. Right, end of movement, turn 2. French got 2 ADCs. They put Margaron's brigade on the left here. They gave him a reroll, and he didn't need it. And Solonec's brigade got skirmisher tasking, and they've moved up to engage those Portuguese skirmishers who also received skirmisher tasking. The French won the initiative. The Spanish brigade, you can see right at the background there, they've got a bit nervous, they've gone hesitant, they're not so sure about the whole situation. The French reserves came on for free because it's only a 10-turn game and there's not many ADCs here, so I've allowed those to come on. So you can see them marching down the road. The obvious play would be to race the cavalry in, but I'm going to class the wall there and both of the hills as rough going, so really the French need to break the brigades and get the cavalry through the other side and run them down if there's anything left on the table. Right, let's get into shooting. Right, the French shoot first here. They've got 5 stands, 1 for the brigader and 2 for skirmisher tasking. So, and they're going to get squat. No, they're going to get 1. So these guys go up to 2. I've already made my first rule mistake because these guys are classed as recruits. So they're going to get 3 stands, brigader, skirmisher tasking, -1 for being recruits. And they're going to get nothing. Over here, the French are going to get 4 dice, +1 for brigader, but we're going to say these guys are in cover. I think they're going to shoot at the line on the hill, which probably won't be in cover because they're aligned. So they're going to get 5 dice. And they're going to get nothing. The skirmish line here will shoot back. 2 stands, brigader, 3 recruits, just down to 2 dice. And they're going to get nothing. Did the French skirmish line stray into volley fire range? Would be the big question. And the answer to that is yes, they did. So they might get an inferior volley from those Spanish boys. Oh, so they're only actually going to get 1 CD because they're a small recruit as firing at skirmishers. Oh, they're going to get a hit. Good on you, boys. Well done. Nice shooting. Right, so that's the turnover. Let's go to turn 3. So turn 3, the French rolled double 6s and got a total of 5 ADCs, and the Spanish got 2. The Portuguese put this brigade on a re-roll ADC and gave these guys skirmisher tasking again. The French gave Margaron's brigade forwards a re-roll and skirmisher tasking, and they're going to try and rush their guns up into canister range and deploy them, and they're going to move the rest of the battalion brigade forward ready for an assault. Solinek used the last ADC to put his boys on skirmisher tasking again. So let's roll for activating brigades, and then we'll do initiative and crack into movement. Okay, I admit it. I always wanted to win with the French, but it could be a quick game, this game. I might. I chose a place and time where it was historically well stacked for the French. The poor Spanish went hesitant with this brigade, and even though the French aren't on an infantry assault, they're sensing that they could get in there, so they went in with 1 battalion that's by itself. They've moved the other 2 up ready to exploit if things go wrong, or exploit it if it goes right or wrong, I guess, I don't know. The skirmish lines moved up to cancel these guys. When you're hesitant, I don't think you can support other brigades. I think you can only support them in shooting, and you can't do that if they're opposed by something else. So hopefully the French will come over that wall and kick some ass. The guns have come up and deployed in canister range, so that's not good news. And Solinex moved his boys up and forced the skirmishers back up the hill. The French cavalry are the only big disappointment. They've gone hesitant. The initiative was a tie, so it goes to the French. Just going to move that Spanish brigade at the back of the pitch up to support, possibly plug a gap if those French break through. So the Spanish are going to close up in case there's a bit of a disaster here with the French. I think they might move over to here. They were a bit hesitant, but now they're committing. Right, over to shooting. French skirmishers first. They've got 5 dice, 1 for brigade and 2 for skirmisher tasking. I'm going to say that the Portuguese have drawn into the rough of the hill, so they're in cover, so it's -1 dice. They're still going to get just 1 hit, so that takes them up to 2. And then they're going to return fire. 3 brigader, skirmisher tasking, but they're recruits, so 5 dice. And they're going to get nothing. Over on the opposite flank, French skirmishers here, they're going to get 4 dice, 1 +1 for brigader, +2 for tasking, and then -1 for shooting at the skirmishers and cover. They'll split their fire between the two, but I think they've got to fire at the skirmishers first. And they'll just get 1 hit. So they'll put 1 on the skirmishers, and the Spanish skirmishers will return fire with just 2 dice. And they'll get a hit. So the French will go up to 2, and the Spanish will go on to 1. Onto artillery, there's only the French guns, and they double moved, so they forwards, so they can't fire. Volley fire, these Spanish lads on the hill will fire 1 dice at the skirmishers, and they'll get nothing. These guys here will give a volley as they come in. The French come in, inferior volley, and they've rolled 4, 5, inferior volley at 5. Still 1 casualty, and I think the lads next to them can offer support fire. So the French column takes 1. They also get a CD for firing at a column coming in. No. Now I think these guys here will also fire inferior volley. They won't get the +1 for the column because they're not within 3 inches. They're going to roll 11. Well done, Portuguese. That's 3 and a DT for the French. So they're up to 4, and they make a discipline check. The testing is grenadiers to represent their better morale. 7. So 7 or more has passed. So they've just passed. So they're going in. I don't think there's any more volley fire. So now we're going to do combat or charge resolution. Actually, we should have done that first. Dear oh dear. Right, let's resolve the charge. It's 36. Neither side is shaken or disordered. The leader unit suffers 3 casualties, so the French are going to add a dice. And they take their 2 lowest, and they get to 6, and the Spanish only managed to roll a 4. Reroll advantages. Says former veterans or grenadiers versus lower grade troops could reroll, but we're only saying that these guys are grenadiers for morale purposes. So we're going to stick with that. So that's a win by 2. Win by 2 is combat with alarm, defender unformed. So the French have gone in. They've gone in with the bayonet. Okay, the French start with 5. Spanish start with 5. French get +1 for LAN, +1 for fighting recruits, and the Spanish -1 for unformed. And the Spanish only get 3, and the dirty old French are only going to get 1. God, can these guys get a victory ever? I'm stacking the deck for you boys, and you still can't win. So they're going to go to 5 casualties. No, they're not. They're going to go 4 + 3. They're going to go to, come on, basic maths. Basic maths, son. They're going to go. They're going to go to 7 casualties, and the Spanish are going to get 1. French went in, and they got spanked. Dear oh dear. So that's a win by 2. Winner take ground, loser retreat. So the French are going to go back. So they'll fall back behind these guys. The first assault's been repulsed. They went in on a whim. They thought they could. They thought they looked dodgy. They weren't dodgy at all, and they've destroyed them. Turn 4, French grenadiers went hesitant. There's no room for them to advance. They're not sure what their orders are, so they've stopped on the road. Polignac has put his brigade on infantry assault, so he's going to go in. Macaron has given artillery assault to the guns. He took a re-roll, and that was all their ADCs used. He's going to try and reform his boys that have been pushed back. The Spanish, for their part, gave their 2 front brigades re-rolls and put their Portuguese skirmishers back on skirmisher tasking. So they won the initiative, so they're going to get to move first, and they don't really want to move. They're quite happy. Right, I thought I might have messed that up, but I didn't, because you get +3 inches when you're on infantry assault. So these 2 units are charging in. Let's go, boys. So the Portuguese will fire. This unit will fire at this guy, and this guy will fire at that guy. So first Portuguese unit is going to roll 9. They're on fire with their shooting. It's going to be wobblies if the French don't win here. That's for sure. 9, inferior volley. Just 2. Just 2, he says. I don't think the Portuguese were quite as flighty as Lucon thought they were. So these guys firing here, and they're going to roll. They're going to roll 11. Oh my gosh! First volleys, I guess. I don't know. That'll be 3 plus a DT. So can the French? Yeah, they pass it. But boy, they're taking some casualties. So now we're going to roll for charges. This is the main charging unit, so it didn't take 3. The other unit took 3. So it's going to do 2d6 against these boys. Oh my God, the French are useless. So they got 1 of support. They could have taken these guys with them, which they will. They've got 2 units in support, so they'll get 1 reroll. They'll reroll this one, and they'll roll a 5. Still not enough, so they use their other reroll to reroll that one. 7. That's not enough. So the Spanish are just going to sit. Can the French squeeze out another reroll? Let's have a look here. No, no, they can't. So they're going to lose by 7 to 10. Is a lose by 3. Lead unit withdraw 1 CD casualties. Support halt 1 CD casualties. So the lead unit, no, and the support takes a casualty. So these guys are going to hold right here. And this unit will withdraw behind these guys. So both French assaults have been repulsed by these small brigades, small battalions. Skirmishes here. Here I was thinking it wasn't going to be much of a game of it, but okay, these skirmishes, 3 bases, skirmisher tasking +2, +1 for the brigade, but lose 1 because they're recruits. So 5 dice. 5 dice of nothing. French are going to return fire with 5 dice, plus brigade, plus skirmishers, -1 for shooting at unit and cover. And they're going to get nothing. French better warm up their dice. That's what they better do, because they're not going so well. Might be having to send the grenadiers in if they weren't hesitant. Over here, band of skirmishers are just going to get 2 dice because they get +1 for brigade skirmish line, -1 for recruits, and they're going to get nothing. And the French are going to shoot back with 5 dice, -1 for cover, and they're going to get nothing higher than a 2. Volley fire, these boys here, I think the only ones can fire, and they're going to fire at the skirmishers. And they're going to get, they only get 1 dice, but they're going to get a hit. So the French will take a standoff there. Jeepers. What's going on, Frenchmen? The French guns better redeem it. They're on assault fire, so we'll give them 2 yellow dice. Let's see what they can do. They're at canister range, so that might give them another dice. No, that'll give them 2 more dice. So they're rolling 4 casualty dice, and they're going to go on this Italian block on the road. Oh. 3 casualty dice, but they've rolled a 6 on their main dice. Standard battery, +1 DT of canister. So they're going to get 4 casualties on that Spanish unit, and it has to take a morale check. So they're going to roll 2 dice. And they've rolled 9. So the Portuguese aren't giving up their town. So they're fine. Fine. They took a bit of a licking, but they're fine. And that's the end of turn 4. Okay, this phase was a bit of a disasterama for both sides. The French Solonec has gone hesitant, and that's bad news because he's got 1 battalion in column right in front of the line, and they can't change formation, I believe, when they're hesitant if they're within 9 of enemy infantry. The Grenadiers, which were going to be the big hope to come forward, they've also gone hesitant. So 2 French brigades have gone hesitant. Spanish, for their part, both Spanish brigades, the one on their left and the one on reserve, have both pulled hesitant markers. So each side rolled 4 dice each. The lowest French dice were double 2s, and the Spanish outdid them with a 2 and a 1. So the French have won the initiative for what it's worth, but it's a bit of a disaster, really. So French movement will declare charges. I think the French will charge, but I don't think they can reach. They'd like to charge in here, but they can't reach. They could charge up the hill maybe, but I think that might not work so well. What a disaster. So I think the French are going to charge up the hill through the rough terrain. So they're going to truck on up the hill. They take a casualty because they're moving at normal speed. So they're going to take 1 casualty for rushing through the heavy terrain, but they're pushing up the hill. They're desperately trying to force the Spanish back. So Buisson is not a tactical genius because he's committing his troops piecemeal, but he's just hoping to get luckier. The downside of that is the French just aren't lucky. So the infantry on the hill are going to give them an inferior volley. And they're just going to get one casualty. I think they get to roll a CD because it's a column at close range. But that's going to do nothing. So then we do combat or charge, resolve the charge. The French just can't pull it off, can they? 10-9. Can they get a reroll? No, they don't get a reroll. So they're going to halt and volley unformed. So another disaster for the French. Across the normal movement now, the rest of the brigade reformed and pretty much stood still. The cavalry's moved up between the paddock, or between the field and the infantry. The grenadiers really want to get into it, but they're hesitant. Their commander can't tell them what to do. And really on the other side, Solinek has just stalled. He stalled right in front of the Portuguese. So he's going to take some pain. So we'll whip into the skirmish. The Spanish didn't move at all. They don't have to. They're just holding. They're fine. Having a skirmish fire on this side of the table. French are going to get 6 dice, -1 for shooting at the Spanish in cover. And they finally got 1, which will take a base off. The Portuguese will shoot back. They've got 3 stands, or 2 stands, brigade, and skirmisher tasking. So they're going to get 5 dice. And they're going to hit 1 time. So they're going to put another casualty on the French. Skirmish lines over here in this flank. French are going to get 3, 4, and they're in cover, so down to 3, and they'll get nothing. And the Spanish will reply with 2, recruits 3, nothing. So no skirmish shooting there. Let's have a look at the artillery in the centre there. Artillery are going to go again. They're on assault fire, so they're going to get 2 dice for assault, 2 dice for canister, and their standard roll. I'm going to give the target as cover, I'm going to say, because they have pulled a barricade, and it is canister. Once again, they're going to get 3 on the casualty dice and a 7 inferior battery. It's just 1, so they're going to take another 4. So they're going to go up to 8. So they're not enjoying that. The only hope of French victory is if the guns blast their way through. So they're now sitting on 8. We better check, see if you get bounce through for canister fire. You do. So the French have missed out on two bounce throughs for the battalion behind them. So we'll give that a whirl now. 1 for this turn, 1 from last, and no, they missed. So that's artillery done. Musketry. The only real one we've got is this one here, and both these guys can shoot. So the Portuguese behind the wall, they're going to give those boys an inferior volley of 11. Oh my God. Oh dear. And 11, 10 plus is 3 and a DT, so they're going to go up to 7. So the French have just taking a licking. They're just taking a licking, boys. And roll DT. 3. Oh dear. 3's not good. Grenadiers, 3, but they go down a grade because they've taken more than 6 casualties. So 6 to 3, they just become unformed. They're considering running away, which is not a bad plan because they're getting pummeled. I think that's it. That's the end of 10-5. Top of turn 6, the French got 3 ADCs, and they've decided to give them all to the Grenadiers. Give them the reroll and give them the forward disorder, and the plan is to send them straight up there. Straight up there, get ready to assault. It's time Luson's going to commit the reserve. He needs to make a breakthrough. We didn't worry about putting the guns on assault fire. They're going to get canister and their normal range. So these guys are, I think, only 2 off dying, so they should go. I should blast them to smithereens. The Spanish, for their part, only got one ADC, and they've given it to this commander on the right here, and his plan is to charge the French, charge down the hill and into the French, and try and chase them off. Let's go. Well, nothing's got a plan for anyone, really. The Spanish right, the big charge is not going to happen because despite having an ADC, he just didn't understand his orders and he's gone hesitant. And over here, Solonak is refusing to do anything. He won't sort his boys out, so they're in trouble. They're going to take yet more pain. The only good news is the French are going to move up their grenadiers, but the Spanish won the initiative, so they're going to get to move first. So I think the Portuguese will come over the fence and charge the French. They're emboldened. They're emboldened, and they think they're going to do it. So the French are really only going to get to shoot with one CD. And that's the wrong coloured dice. They're only going to shoot with one CD, but they're going to do a casualty. So the Portuguese will take one climbing over the wall, but they're in. 2 CDs each. Oh, and everybody's rolling well now. 10-10. Crikey. Oh, the French have got to roll another CD because they've got... they're unformed and they've got casualties coming out the razoo. So hang on. Hold the phone. They're rolling 2 more dice because they're disordered and they've got casualties coming out the razoo. So they're going to lose by a metric ton. Oh dear. So they've rolled double 2s, so they lose by 6. Broken. No, that's not right. Yeah, victory. Infantry versus infantry, cavalry versus... So D6. Oh, Frenchies. Come on, boys. So they're going to take 6 CDs casualties and retreat. So they're going to take 2 more casualties. So they take 10 they're up to 10 casualties and they retreat. So they'll retreat back here. But I think they retreated through these guys, so these guys become unformed. So it's just a disaster. Just an absolute disaster. And I think the Portuguese jump the fence. Hurrah! Right, so normal movement. I think the Portuguese will move their skirmishers back on the hill because they're getting pushed back, and I don't think they need to do anything else. Nope, they're fine. Over to the French movement. Let's see what the grenadiers can do. So they're going to get 7 plus 6 is 13 plus 9, 20 inches. So the last French hope is coming through. We'll show them. We'll use the grenadiers to clinch the deal. He's going to head up the brigade. I think these boys move up in support of these lads. The French cavalry will come forward. It's time for the reserves to take over. Good gracious, look at that. There's a fair wad of troops coming up the middle. French last-ditch effort to bludgeon their way through. Right, skirmish and fire. I believe it was the Portuguese-Spanish turn first. So 3 dice. I'm going to say these are incumbents. So they're down to 1 dice, so they're not going to do anything at all, really. Those guys now. We'll give them 2 dice because we're generous. And they're going to roll 11. That'll teach me for being generous. Let's take a base. Let's take a French base off. There you go. Don't be generous. So the French are going to shoot, and they're going to do 1 as well. So put 1 on those skirmishes. The Spanish shooting dice are on fire. Over here, the Spanish are going to get just 2 dice. No, and the French are going to get 3 in reply. No, it's just a Mexican standoff there. Volley fire. There's none really. Stick for here. The Spanish. a roll is respectable 7. I think that's just 1 casualty. All right, I should have done the French guns, but we'll do them now. So they're just going to roll 2 plus canister. And they're going to get 10. It's going to be in cover, so it'll be inferior. Battery is 10, is 1 in a DT, and they get 1. So that takes those guys to 10 casualties. And I believe because they're a small unit, 10's enough to take them off the board. Yep. So these guys have been blasted out of existence. Bounce through. No. But that brigade will now be faltering. So that's not good. French infantry are not up to it, but the guns are going to do it for them. This way it might get tricky for the Spanish or the Portuguese. If they don't roll enough ADCs, they could be gone. Let's see what we can get. Oh, they can do it easy. 2 ADCs. The French get 3 and a re-roll for the adjutant. No, so they're just going to get 3. So the Spanish are going to wait both their ADCs on this guy for a re-roll. And the French, they're going to risk it for a biscuit and put all 3 back on the Grenadiers. And they're going to give them infantry assault and they're going to give them forwards, but no re-roll. Which is bad because the Grenadiers have gone hesitant like 3 times this game already. And we're only on turn 6. All right, let's go. Come on, Solinet, can you get your act together? Yes, you can. Good lad. Let's try the Grenadiers. Let's get that over and done with. Yes, they're in. The cavalry, they're happy, and Margot is hesitant, of course. Of course he is. Over to the Spanish. Let's do the 2 unimportant brigades. Let's do the Spanish brigade over here. They're fine, and the Spanish brigade in the rear. They are hesitant. Now the all-important Portuguese. Are they going to stand? 2 is not good. 2. They are reservists. That is run away. So we're going to re-roll that. We've got 1 re-roll. And we're going to get a 4. And a 4 for those lads is rally. So there you go. They're still in the game. So rolling dice, 3 dice each for initiative. 4 for the Spanish. The Spanish still take it. Oh gosh, French. I don't know what to do with you. Hey, I don't know what to do with you French fellas. Cook you a good pasta or something. Put some fire in your belly. So the Spanish will declare a charge. They'll charge these guys. Hurrah! Probably not the best plan, but why not? They're hesitant. Yeah, that's the only charge they've got. And the French will go in, and they'll go in with the Grenadiers, supported charge, because they're on infantry assault. In you go. Pasta la charge, boys. In. So let's go here. The French get 1 CD shooting, and they'll do squat. Come on, Frenchies, don't run away. Don't run. Then go the Spanish. Oh, the Spanish are done miserable. So the Spanish have rolled 4 and the French have rolled 7. There might be some re-rolls in it for the French. Maybe the Spanish shouldn't have gone in there. Hey, maybe they shouldn't. They got a bit overkeen. They got overconfident and they thought they could do it. But that was a tactical mistake on the part of their leader, once again. Oh, wait a minute. No, the French are unformed, so they'll be rolling another dice. Oh, and they've rolled a 1. So it's 4-all. Oh, the Spanish have pulled it back. Maybe it wasn't such a bad idea. It's a real seesaw. It's a it's a seesaw game with my interpretation of the rules, that's for sure. Well, the French have got 1 unit in support, but that doesn't count as support because they're hesitant. So it's a draw. What's a draw? A draw. Close to combat. Exception cavalry versus square. So they're in. The Spanish have got in, and the French, for once, didn't run away. Right, let's do this one over here. Here we go. Spanish volley here. Inferior volley. They've rolled an 8. Their shooting is just outstanding. Outstanding. Still an inferior volley. So it's going to be 2 on the veterans as they come in. And we're going to roll our dice. Oh, the Spanish are on fire. I want these dice to keep these dice and just use them all the time. So it's 10-11, but the French are going to get a few re-rolls. But even so, they've got 2 chances of nothing. So they get a re-roll for a support, and they get a re-roll for grenadiers facing. So they're going to re-roll the 4. It's going to go badly. I can tell you right now. That's on a thing. Oh, that's on a thing. Let's do it over here. 2. Oh, and a ditch. And a 4. So they still lose by 1. They still Halt volley, unformed. So they get 1 CD shot. And they miss. So the French can't even get in with their grenadiers. They can't even get in with the grenadiers. Right, normal movement. I think the only thing the Spanish are going to do, or the Portuguese, is pull these guys back across the fence now. And the French are going to reform this unit, move their skirmishers up to try and kill off their skirmishers. And that's about all they can do. They're running out of time, the French. And they're running out of men. Dear. So let's just get into shooting. Over here on the hill, which you probably can't see, we'll just do a quick bit of skirmish fire. And it was nonsense. Nothing happened. And the only other skirmish fire is over the other side. And that was also nonsense. So skirmishing in this game has been ineffectual. There's no volley fire. There's just artillery. And I think the artillery will shoot at the boys that jumped the fence and gave the French such a licking. So they get canister. And a 5 is not good. 5 is nothing, but they get 2 from the canister. So that'll take them to 3. I don't think there's any bounce through. So not a lot of shooting. All we've got left is the combat on the hill. Okay, I think the Spanish are 4 because they start at 5 and they lose 1 for being recruits in line. And I think the French start at 5 and they go up 1 for facing a lower grade, but down 1 for unformed. So let's see how we go here. Oh, you can't stop the Spanish. You just can't do it. They've rolled 3 to the French's 2. The Spanish are just unstoppable. So they go to 6. And the Spanish go to 2. There'll be no getting through to Elvis today. So that's a win by one. Win by one, winner take ground, loser retreat. These boys are going to go through, I'm guessing, and form up back here. They'll unform the guys behind them as they go, and they'll be marked as retreat with 6 casualties, and the Spanish will be unformed. Turn 7. Oh, it's a dismal roll. It's a dismal roll for the French. The Spanish / Portuguese have got 3 ADCs. The French have only got 2. Oh my God. Well, they're going to go back to try to true artillery assault. They're just going to try and shoot these guys to bits because their infantry they just haven't got it in them. They just haven't got the spirit, the daring do. The Spanish, what are the Spanish going to do? They've got 3, so they go over to the attack. They've got no guns. They only got to hold out for another couple of turns. 3 turns. I think they're just going to give this guy a reroll and put out two skirmisher taskings. No, they'll do a scout, so they'll try and steal the initiative. Solinak, are you in the game, son? Yes, you are. The Grenadiers. Yes. The Cavalry. Yes. Margonot. Yes, so the French are all keen. Spanish. The Portuguese. Yes. The leading Spanish brigade, yes. And the rear Spanish brigade, no. So Spanish have got 1 hesitant brigade. They're rolling 3 dice to the French 2, but they get a re-roll because they have scout. And the French have got 7, and the Spanish have got 4. The Spanish can't steal it. Oh, go boys. Right, so what do they want to do now they've got the initiative? Do we charge the Grenadiers? They're unformed. No, we've got no charges. The French have got no charges. It's normal movement. All the Spanish are going to do is reform their lads on the hill. That's all they're going to do. It's been largely static. They haven't had to commit their reserve. They're just holding up fine. The French, oh my God. They'll reform these boys. These guys will go from retreat to reform. The Grenadiers will reform. These boys will reform. And I think these lads will push forward and these guys will come up ready for one more assault. We could just break the Portuguese. That'll fold the flank. If they could just do that. Can you do it for me, boys? I don't think so. Right, skirmish fire up here on the hill. The Spanish are 2, plus brigade are 3, recruits 1, shooting at guys in cover is 1, so it's nothing. So we're going to be generous and give them 1 again. I'd be crying if they took another standoff. So these guys are going to get 4, 5 brigade shooting at cover down to a 4, and they can't get higher than a 3. What's wrong with these French dice? What's wrong with it? All right, 2 plus brigade 3 plus skirmisher tasking 5. Recruits 4. 3 1s and a 4. Rubbish. French back. They're going to get 3. And they can't do it. Neither of these guys can hit a barn door at 2 paces. Right, assault fire and canister and all the goodness. Big roll on the Portuguese. That will be 3, just 4. which takes them to 7. So that's kind of painful. No discipline checks or anything though, which is what we want. No bounce through. All right, volley fire. I think they're going to get volley at these guys. It'll be small battalion casualties. It'll just be 1 CD because they're kind of knackered now. It's 1 CD that counts though, because the Spanish, you can't stop this. You can't stand the Portuguese or the Spanish from shooting like dead eyes. They're killing everything. They're going to do a volley here, inferior volley, and then roll 8. 8 is just 1. So another one on the Grenadiers, on the, veterans. And then these guys up here, which are reformed, they're doing the volley as well. And they've rolled 10. Oh my giddy aunt. I think that's 2 in a DT. Very 2 in a DT. So 2 of these, the French are just shot to ribbons. 6. That's enough because they're classed as Grenadiers. So the morale's holding, but sweet potatoes, they're taking a bit of a licking. And the French really haven't got any response. The only game I've ever played where I've stayed in column the whole game and it really hasn't paid off. Usually by now I'm in line trying to trade volleys, but I've remained in column because I thought I'd smash through these little poultry lines, but it hasn't happened for me. And that's the end of the turn. We can do a couple of... Do we want to do single volley return fire? No, we do not. We're staying in column. We're going in. We're going in, sir. Turn 8. The French are going to make a move. They better get their dancing shoes on. Okay, now things have got a little bit interesting because the Spanish got no ADCs at all on their turn. They rolled 3 2s, so they got nothing. And the French didn't do much better. They only clawed in 2. So they've decided to give the Grenadiers infantry assault and they're given Solonek's brigade infantry assault. No re-rolls. It's all on who can pass their test, who can understand their orders. So let's do a few rolls and see how we go. We do the Spanish first. Spanish on the hill over here. They're fine. Spanish behind them, they're fine. And the Portuguese, they're fine. So they understand hold and shoot. What about the French? Over here, Margaret, he understands it. The Grenadiers, they understand what they're doing. The cavalry, no, they don't. They're not really clear. Well, they're in the mix of all. There's too many infantry, they don't like it. Over on the other side, Solonek, what can you do? Yes, you understand your orders. So, French are rolling 3. The Spanish are rolling 2. So the Spanish have it again. Son, you're a useless commander. You've not got the initiative. Your boys couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag. Once again, I think the Spanish will just stand and take it because they don't care. They're in the perfect position. So Grenadiers are going in, 1 charge, and then over on the French right, Solonek's boys will go in as well. It's the big push. They can't shoot them off every turn. Right, so we'll go here. Defensive fire by the Portuguese. Inferior volley, they're a small battalion. Oh, they're only going to get 1 CD. Oh, this could make a difference because they're a small battalion and they're worn. So 1 CD. And it doesn't count at all. So in the French go. Hurrah! Oh, jeepers. The French can't do it. Oh, hang on. There's a few more dice to roll. We're getting a bit carried away. So that's the initial dice roll, and then to that, the Portuguese have got to roll another dice because they've got over 6. So that goes to that. They're still in the. Oh, they've got to take the lowest 2. Sorry. So that goes to 7 to 8. So the French have got to re-roll because they've got a support. But so have the Spanish. So the French, do they re-roll So the French reroll. Win by 1, they go into combat. So they're going to let the Portuguese decide, and the Portuguese want to reroll. They have to. So they're going to stick there. So I think the French are just going to go in with that. They're going to go in with a win by 1, which is combat with alarm, defender unformed. So in they go. They're not re-rolling because every time I re-roll, we all know what happened. If you don't know what happened, go check out a few of my other videos. Every time I get greedy, I get the slaps. So no, we're settling with that and we're going in. All right, let's go to the other side. And the Spanish are going to give the Grenadiers a volley as they come in. Of course, they're going to roll 10. Naturally. I mean, why wouldn't they? They've done it every other turn. So I think that's 2 in a DT. Yep, 2 in a DT. So that takes them to 5. And DT 7, they're fine. So now we're going to roll the dice. I think it's just a straight roll because no one's unformed. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. That's not good. Spanish have rolled 3 and the French have rolled 9. They've both got supports. No one's unformed. No one's suffered more than 3 casualties in the charge or 6 worn. These are veterans fighting a lower grade troop, so they're going to get 2 re-rolls if they want them, and the Spanish get 1 for their unit behind them. So Spanish re-roll gives them a 4, gets them up to 6. 6-9 is a win by 3. Take the ground, defender retreat. I think they're going to take that. So the defender retreats with 4 CDs casualties, and it'll take 2. So it's going to come through, go to here, change into a column, and it's going to take 2 CDs, which takes it up to 3. It unforms those guys as it goes, and they take 2 CDs casualties, which is 2. Oh, Spanish line is starting to buckle. So the Portuguese have rolled nothing, and the French have rolled 4, and they're already at 7, the Portuguese, so they break on 10, so they're gone. So that's 2 battalions out of a brigade of 3, so that in turn breaks the brigade and it's removed, it's dispersed. So you can just see the remainder of the Portuguese running back to the town of Evora. So that side's collapsed. What can the Spanish do? Okay, that's in start of turn 9. The French need to break 1 more brigade to get a decisive victory. This Portuguese are gone, so it's going to call it the Spanish force now. They only rolled 1 ADC. They gave their front brigade a re-roll, and he's fine, but their rear brigade is now hesitant. The French got 3 ADCs. They gave their combined grenadier brigade reserve, they gave them glory, infantry assault, and a re-roll, and they've passed. Every other French formation also passed their checks, and they also won the initiative. So the French are going to start by declaring a charge in here. So they're going in. They might also try and charge here, desperately trying to smash their way through. The Spanish have got no charges. Going to fight those and see how we go. So we'll do the veteran unit first. The Spanish are going to fire, but they're unformed and they're a small unit, so they're just going to get 1 CD and they get nothing. So the charge goes in. Oh, the French roll double 1s. Of course they have. But the Spanish are going to have to roll another dice. That's a 1. So they're going to go down to 5, and the French are a higher grade, so they're going to get 1 re-roll. That'll give them a 3, and then they'll re-roll with their other unit. So that's a win by 4. Charges, win by 4. Take the ground, defender retreats, 4 CDs casualties. So it's the Spanish retreating. and they're just going to take 1 casualty. But the unfortunate thing about that is they've already got a unit in their brigade that's retreating that hasn't reformed yet. So 2 retreating units means that brigade's faltering. So it could be the big collapse. Right, we'll go here. Spanish are going to get a inferior volley because they're still at good strength. Margaret's going to have 1 more turn chance of coming up the hill. 7, that's just going to be 1 casualty. No one's worn, no one's nothing, it's just straight dice roll. Can the French carry the day? 8, 9. They are a better grade troop, so they do get 1 reroll. So we'll reroll the 2, and we'll get another 2. There's no other rerolls that I can see. So they're going to lose by 1. French just can't take that hill. Lose by 1, Lee unit, hold unformed volley. Defender stand. Right. Turn 10, last turn. Can the French get a decisive victory? The Spanish, we've rolled CDs. The Spanish got 1. They're obviously going to put it on their faltering brigade. The French got 5. They gave their cavalry forwards, glory, and a reroll, and they gave their grenadiers just a reroll. So let's start with the French and see if it's the Spanish and see if it's a disaster first. So they're going to roll a 3. That isn't good. That, my friends, is not good. So they are recruits, reserves 3, wavering. Disperse any unit within 2 unit casualties of its dispersal point. Retreaters 4 CDs casualties. All other units go on form 2 CD casualties or retreat. Skirmish line on 2 bases is recalled. No movement. Brigade remains faltering. Oh dear. Oh dear, 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 dear. So these guys, 4 CDs. So they're going to go to 5. These guys, they're going to go to 5. And the guys on the hill, they're going to go to 4. And the skirmishers are recalled. And it remains faltering. I think those guys might retreat, to be honest, on the hill. So these guys are going to come back to here and take 2 more CDs. And they take another one. So everyone in that brigade's on 5. And the brigade is still faltering. We've got 1 is we haven't re-rolled yet. So we've got 1 brigade in the, and the front brigade is holding strong. 1 Spanish brigade going to cover the retreat. Let's have a look at the French cavalry. Needs a re-roll. They're fine. The grenadiers, they need a re-roll. They've gone hesitant. Margaret is fine and Solinak is fine. So the grenadiers just they got there, they got over the hill, they chased off the Spanish, but they don't understand their orders now. So charges, well, we're going to charge with the cavalry, that's for sure. We've got more than enough kahunas to get in there. And they're taking some friends for support. They've got it all glory, they're going in. So Spanish are going to try and form square. 7, they are recruits, unformed. So they didn't do it. The French cavalry's going to seal the deal. So then it's combat. The Spanish are going to roll 6 and the French are going to roll 5. But the Spanish need to roll another dice because they're unformed. No, it's still 6. Then the formed cavalry versus infantry are online, re-roll. So they'll re-roll the 1 and get a 5. So 9 plays 6. It's a win by 3. Cavalry versus infantry. Defender unformed. Cavalry win with Elan. So if I re-rolled, I'd get one re-roll. No, we're going to go in with Elan. Elan and Glory and everything in between. So in go the cavalry. All right, normal movement. So quick recap. So Mogonot's moved his infantry, his skirmishers over the hill. His battalions had to reform on the opposite side of the hill, so they haven't come forward. The grenadiers don't understand the orders, so they've hesitated. The cavalry's come steaming down the road, jump the barricade, and they're into the Spanish before they can form square. And on the far side of the road, Solinac's troops have moved across, but there's no one really facing them because the Portuguese are running for the town. So we're on the last combat of the game, which is this cavalry here. So can they steamroller the Spanish and win the day? Right, so I've worked it out to be the Spanish are rolling 3 dice because they start at 5, -1 for unformed, -1 for facing cavalry. The French dragoons start at 5, +1 for glory, +1 for Elan, and +1 for fighting lower grades. So they're at 8. And the Spanish get 1 and the French get 3. So that's a win by 2. Win by 2. Cavalry versus infantry. Cavalry win, take the ground, loser disperse. So these guys go. And the French cavalry come through. And that brigade also faltered. So no matter what happens in the next turn, the Spanish have got 2 faltering brigades and they only can rally one of them. So that would be one of those brigades automatically disperses and that would be the game. So the only question remains is what blinking turn are we up to? Are we on turn 9? Are we on turn 10? Well, what can I say? I just don't believe it. Unbelievable. In the turn 10, the French are as close as they can get to a victory without getting a victory. The victory conditions were break 2 enemy brigades. Well, they've broken the Portuguese. They're running back to the town. Both Spanish brigades are faltering and they're only rolling 2 ADCs if it went another turn, so one of those would more than likely break. But have they broken 2 brigades? Nope. So, for a game that I thought would be an easy win for the French, they've gone and stuffed it up again. The cavalry came through to the last minute charge. But no. Robbed. So yet again, the French didn't get the victory that they really didn't get to taste the fruits of victory. I think I'm going to have to build a full Spanish army and fight some sort of campaign until the French win. Good gravy. Oh well, c'est la vie. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.